Welcome to the Grand Review. This is the podcast where we talk about movies, movie news, and probably just rip into something that everyone loves. But whether or not that has anything to do with this week's movie, I don't know.
We're gonna find out.
I think you know what I'm going to say about this, but I don't necessarily know if you do.
No, I don't. I really have no idea what your take on this is going to be.
I'm playing both sides. That way I win every time. That's a Always Sunny in Philadelphia reference. I stole that joke.
I've never seen that show.
I have watched a couple of episodes, and you know what? It's funny, but the first couple seasons are like 2006, 2007 funny, which is things that they would not dare to do now. Anyway, speaking of not daring to do things, we missed a couple of episodes or a couple of weeks. But I wouldn't dare miss this movie. This is what we were going to talk about. This is your fault
this time, not mine.
Yes. So long story short, I had to go meet Weird Al.
Yeah.
And then I had to do some other stuff after that took up actually most of the time I was gone. But,
but you were working too, so I get that.
I was trying to put food on the table.
Yeah, this podcast is not doing it for us, so
no.
We'll have to work.
If anyone would like to sponsor us, you can reach out to us at Grand Review Pod on Facebook or Instagram, and you can talk to us there. We'll slide into our DMs, as the kids say. Is this not a good sales pitch?
I'd rather not slide into anything.
Hey, home base, brother. That's as American as it gets.
Okay, yeah, but that's not the route it's taking anymore.
Yeah, well, and I mean the way that if I tried to slide into home base, I've put on some weight in the middle, and I think I'd more like roll onto home base at this point.
Well, with my size, then God knows, do I barrel into home base?
I don't want to comment on that because I've had to delete one joke I made from this podcast before.
Oh, and by the way, I'm Andy since Garrett won't introduce me, but
crap.
Everybody...
I'm out of practice. It's been a couple weeks. This is Andy. Andy, thanks for being here.
Thanks, Garrett.
Good to have you back.
Yeah.
Good to be back. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
it is
definitely.
Good. This is my happy place.
Because I've had to keep my mouth shut about this movie for long enough. So
almost 2 weeks now. Yep.
Well, the staff kind of knows my feelings on this, but probably not as extensively as like we're going to get into in this podcast.
Yeah, no, we're going to dig deep. We're going to dive in. We're here.
Yeah.
We are in the party room at Grand Avenue Theater.
Yep.
Our butts in these wonderfully curved plastic seats, microphones in our face, and not a single valid thought in my head.
Yeah, but that has that different from any other week.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. It's good. There's no thoughts. None happening.
Okay.
Okay. So basically, if you're joining us for the first time, sorry for the long preamble. We missed a couple weeks. We're back.
Yep.
We're doing a doubleheader this week. So after this episode, we'll be talking about Borderlands. But this episode is focused on Deadpool and Wolverine. And basically, how this is going to work is we'll do a spoiler-free review up front. Everything's been spoiled by the internet anyway at this point when we put this out.
Yeah.
But if you haven't seen it, we'll just kind of do our general thoughts, let you know if it's worth the price of admission, and then we'll get into spoilers and talk about all the little goodies.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Oh, yeah. Deadpool and Wolverine 2024.
Yep.
What are your thoughts, Andy? You always want to hear what you think first.
I loved it.
Oh, there we go.
And not for the obvious reasons, that it's raunchy and foul and morally apprehensible on every level. I just liked it. It was entertaining. It made me laugh a lot.
Yeah.
There were parts of it that I watched this by myself the Tuesday night before it actually opened. So I got to come into a theater late at night, by the way, and actually stayed awake through the entire film.
Now
and
that's a badge of approval from Andy.
Yeah,
there.
There was times where I just stood up and cheered and was just like, yes, that's exactly what I wanted to see. Yes, this is, and I watched it in 3D too. And the 3D effects on it actually weren't bad. Marvel really does get that stuff correct, like the technical stuff.
Yeah, they do.
So that's good. We were playing in 3D for a while now. We're just doing it in 2D now.
Yeah, I generally prefer 2D over 3D, so I saw it in 2D. I don't think I missed anything by not having 3D. Ever since Spy Kids 3D, no 3D has stood up for me. Ever since
but you liked Inside Out 2 in 3D.
I liked it, but I still think that I if I had my druthers, I'll pick 2D just because with 3D, I think you just lose a little bit of the detail just because of the way that it works, and it's you're getting those two different images, so it kind of just feels a little fuzzy to me. So I squint, and that kind of gives me a headache.
I kind of wish, I took Jessica to see Despicable Me 4 the other night, and that's when I look back on seeing it the second time, I'm going, I wish we really would have played at least one show in 3D of that.
Yeah.
Because some of the gags on that are just, especially the cheese thing that you really liked.
Well, yeah.
That would have looked great in 3D.
Just having the cheese flow over the screen onto your face. Yeah, that's fun. I don't know. 2D's like, I guess it's just a personal preference thing. Like, I don't hate 3D. I just pick 2D.
I'm glad that Hollywood has backed off on it, though. Like, they don't force it down your throat the way they used to. Yeah. They really do make it for tentpole event films that are worthy of it and not just a cash grab. Because I know for a while that was a big thing, making a 3D film solely for money reasons, and that was it. And it really got annoying.
Because the ticket prices are normally higher.
Right.
And then you buy
not
the
at
glasses
Grand Avenue,
on top
though.
of it. Not at Grand Avenue. That's why I said normally.
We don't charge the upcharge, and we don't charge for glasses.
Yeah, and that's awesome.
And we're not going to start either.
Yeah, that's so cool. I love that about this place. Like, it's you want to see the movie, pick which one you want, and we're not going to,
right. We're not going to gouge you.
Yeah. So that's something that I there was a while there where it was just like, we're going to try and make as many of the showings 3D as possible. Yeah. And so, there was that.
And Disney was the one that was mainly behind that, too.
Imagine that.
Yeah, shocker. Like, reimagining or re-releasing a lot of the classic ones in 3D, too. Yes. And there's only one that actually cashed in on it, and that was Lion King.
Not surprising.
Right. And actually, it did look pretty good in 3D. But, like, Finding Nemo, bomb. Monsters University, or not Monsters Inc., the first one, bomb.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
When they re-released that, I had the biggest problem with that at the theater I was running because everybody thought it was the second one. And they're like, you're running the first one. Yes, that's what it said.
Yeah.
And they're like, we wanted to see the second one. Not till next summer.
Right. They just thought you got the movie a whole year early.
Yeah. And I'm like, read the title.
Okay, well, so in talking about, looping back around to Deadpool here, talking about, people maybe not paying attention when they book a film or when they buy a seat to a film. Today, while I was sitting in Deadpool and Wolverine, is it's a hard R.
Yep.
There were so many children around me. I felt gross the whole time. I could not
you couldn't laugh at anything, could you?
I could laugh at some things. Anytime they made fun of Fox, that was hilarious.
Oh yeah,
but there's a lot of that in there. I don't think that's a spoiler to say because Deadpool was doing that when they were at Fox,
right?
But yeah, generally, okay. So review quickly. I'll just kind of lay it out. Yeah. I think it's the best multiverse movie I've ever seen.
Yes,
and multiverse movies really only work if there is a self-referential character. The multiverse stuff that Marvel has been doing or that DC has tried to do, I hate it. I hate multiverse stuff. It's just like if you want a different timeline, just have it be a different timeline. Stop trying to cross them. I don't want to see it. I don't care. It's too convoluted. It's too stupid. It lowers the stakes so much because we'll just get another one.
It just makes bad writing acceptable.
Exactly.
And
it's crutch.
You're right, and I don't like that either. Why don't you just flesh out a good story and make it in one setting?
Right. And this one, as far as that whole concept goes, does it, I think, the best that I've seen.
Yes, I would agree.
Because it is going, look, this is dumb, and we know it's dumb, but just go along with it because I have one chance to get this right. Mom spaghetti. And it's fun in that range. It also just overall, I think I was just a little sad because I know that Wolverine's supposed to be this hard-boiled character who probably would curse a lot if he was a real person and all that stuff. But
he did in the comic books,
and in the comic books, and so, but not in the ones that I had ever read.
Okay.
And I maybe in Old Man Logan. I did read Old Man Logan. But I think generally, this didn't feel like Wolverine to me in the same way that he did in a lot of the other movies, but it's such a different tone that I don't think you can get the same feel. Logan's one of my favorite movies. I mean, that movie's
Yeah, and
fantastic.
it's very different from that, even though there's a James Mangold reference.
Oh yes,
That's really funny.
So yeah, it's overall. I think it's relatively good storytelling.
I just think the story to it's very thin.
It's thin, but it's
forgivable.
It's exactly as thick as it needs to be for them to walk across it and make the jokes. And that's what comedies are. I mean, generally speaking.
Yeah.
Not always though. If you look at City Slickers, that's a movie that's a comedy movie and it's funny the whole way through, but it has a very, very real human story about these men trying to reconnect with brotherhood, with
Well, even another good example of that was Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Yeah.
For as funny as that movie is, there is actually a very darker side to that film that's very honest and true and it's very sad.
As opposed to Due Date, which tries to do the same thing, but just has Zach Galifianakis farting his father's ashes all over things.
Yeah, but I like Due Date.
I do too. I've watched it like 5 times. I'm just saying it's a thin story.
It is.
With thin characters just to make jokes.
But it also goes back to, I still think like some of the best films ever made don't have a defined storyline.
Okay, give me an example or two.
Clerks.
I haven't seen Clerks.
Breakfast Club. Which
Don't
you
like
hate,
Breakfast
but,
Club.
Yeah. Dazed and Confused.
Haven't seen it. I know.
Seriously?
How are you surprised?
At least, for as much as you like Richard Linklater, I figured that would be the one you would have seen.
I saw the cover to it and just thought, that looks like a drug movie, and I don't care.
There's a lot more to that film than just weed references.
Wait, is Dazed and Confused, is that the one with Matthew McConaughey?
Yeah, that was Matthew McConaughey's first film.
Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas for some reason.
Fear and Loathing is very different.
Yeah.
Because it's Hunter S. Thompson. And Hunter S. Thompson was a strange guy, but I do like that film too.
Okay.
But it's not something that's easily digestible.
Okay, yeah, I was thinking of
Especially
the wrong movie, but I also haven't seen Dazed and Confused.
You need to see Dazed and Confused.
Be a lot cooler if
You did, man. And who would have thought Matthew McConaughey would have been like the breakout star from that film too? But that's a couple.
But his career ended with that movie where he was in a video game. So I don't know.
Which one was...
Oh my gosh. Okay, hold on. Talk about Deadpool and Wolverine for a second.
Okay.
Is it worth the price of admission?
Yes, definitely. I think people going to this know exactly what they're going to get into anyway, so it's not going to disappoint you.
Yeah, it is exactly what you think.
The references are hilarious. The cameos are great. Just like I said, I wish that it would have been a little bit more on storyline, but like you said, hearing that now and like it's exactly what it needs to be. Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, look, if you like this kind of thing, it's an easy recommend.
Right.
If you're thinking about taking your kid out to the movies, don't do it, you freaking moron. What the heck is wrong with you?
You weren't here opening weekend where I said, I wanted to throw up like every 5 minutes watching 5 or 6 people families with kids like 7, 8, 9, or, under 10 and taking them to this hard R action film and thinking it's okay. It's going to be fine.
Bloody. It is vulgar. It is vile. It is, and you can't be mad at a Deadpool movie for being a Deadpool movie.
No.
That's fine. Whatever. But I can be mad at parents for being bad parents.
Yes.
And I'm sorry. Like, look, is it the worst thing you could do? No, it's not like you've introduced your child into the lower rungs of doing drug trade or, cocaine, for instance.
Well, that's watching the show Contraband the other night and watching the 27-year-old mother and 17-year-old daughter get busted at the border for drugs and being so freaking high they couldn't operate their vehicle.
Right, yeah. That's arguably worse. But your 7-year-old is hearing someone talk about how a dog looks like multiple animals were copulating with each other on a bed of gonorrhea. That's not okay.
Yeah.
Don't do that to your kids. They remember this stuff. It
Yes.
colors them for the rest, with colorful language, it colors them for the rest of their lives. And they will never, if they ever want to stop that, because it's ingrained early on, they will have such a harder time than if they were not introduced to these things until they were older and could deal with them on a level that they cannot when they are 7 years old. What
Right.
is wrong with you? We love you anyway, but don't do that.
Yeah.
Also, don't watch The House with the Clock on its Walls. It's bad for kids. The movie was called Serenity. And it was Matthew McConaughey and Anne Hathaway. And
no, I missed that. I remember hearing about that. I did not see that. Although I saw Frailty with him and Bill Paxton that I really liked.
I haven't seen Frailty, but I have seen Serenity, and I can tell you with absolute certainty, you would not believe what they do. You would not believe how smart it thinks it is compared to how smart it is.
Well, because when you say Serenity too, the first thing I think of is the Firefly film that Josh Whedon did.
Yeah, they can dream, but that's not what this is.
Oh, because Serenity actually wasn't that bad. Or at least the Firefly one.
Oh, Matthew McConaughey was in this Deadpool and Wolverine.
He was?
Let's talk about it in spoilers.
Okay.
Spoilers! All right, from this point on, we are in spoiler territory. Please do not listen if you do not want to have spoilers.
Although you should know everything by now, so don't hit the stop button. Just keep going with it.
Right, yeah. Most people have seen this if they wanted to see it. And if you haven't gotten around to it and you're listening to this, good on you, bro. You're a cool dude. All right, let's talk about spoilers.
Okay. So who was Matthew McConaughey in this?
He was Cowboy Pool.
I thought it was okay. That makes sense, but I thought it was the guy Carlos E. Carlos.
Carlos E. Carlos.
Yeah, he's a B actor.
Okay,
he's been in a bunch of some good movies, but mostly they're bad movies, direct to video.
Yeah.
The one that always stands out to me is The Replacement Killers. He's in that. Without going through the entire list, I can't. It's hard to think about.
All right, well, let's let that rabbit hole get filled in, and let's stick to the movie.
The obvious cameos there for the Deadpool thing. Blake Lively being Lady Deadpool, yes.
Yep.
His two
kids being Baby Pool and Kid Pool, with one of the most vile things I've ever heard come out of a child's mouth. But also one of the funniest. Yeah, that's the problem. Most of the movie, I'm laughing, but like I said, just because I'm literally on a row of recliners filled with kids whose feet don't reach to the recliner bed, and I'm just I would go, oh, oh no,
yeah.
All right, I'm going to try and ignore that, though, for the rest of the review. You know how I feel about it.
Dogpool is one of my favorite things about this
Dogpool's very funny. Taking the internet by storm. I knew about Dogpool before. I mean, I knew about almost all of this because the clip in the car where Wolverine finally lays into him, really lays into him, that had been posted, and I was just...
The best about that is the coexist bumper sticker.
Oh, that was so funny. Oh, yeah,
that was hilarious.
They're fighting so hard, and then it just kind of pedestals down to this coexist sticker, and then it gets dark, and it's still fighting. I laughed so hard when it cut to the overhead shot, and Deadpool's wrapped up in seatbelts.
Yeah.
I was there's not even that much seatbelt in a car. I don't care. That's funny.
Paul Rudd is aged.
Yeah, oh gosh, that was good. Yeah, Paul Rudd finally aged. That's a good joke. I don't want to just sit here and list jokes, but there were. I laughed at all of the industry jokes. Hold on, wait a second, wait for all the extras to clear. Okay, bye-bye. Yeah. Go on.
The rubbles of the 20th Century Fox logo sticking out of the ground,
yes,
that's great.
That's funny. And setting a whole fight in front of that.
Yeah, Feige said no cocaine in this one.
I saw an article where Sean Levy said he and Ryan were in a meeting with Kevin Feige, and he said, look, we want a Deadpool movie. We want the violence, the cursing, fine, but maybe just no cocaine. and Sean Levy said, so we said, oh, yes, sir, absolutely. So we ran home and wrote the cocaine joke. It was the first thing we wrote for the movie.
That's almost like the subliminal FU to Kevin Feige. I think that's great.
I think it's okay. So we were talking off air about how Trap should be good because it's a excuse me, I'm burping.
It's a constraint.
It's a constraint, and when you are in constraints, creativity breeds solutions that are interesting. So that's what it should have been. You said it wasn't.
No.
I think that this is a good example of how that constraint was laid down, and they got it to
They worked
be
around it.
They got it to be an asset to the film because doing that is funnier than any cocaine usage.
Right.
Like there's no doubt about it. It's funnier this way.
Or, I had to sell somebody's high blood pressure medication.
Right. You trying to kill me? I'm not the one putting salt on everything. So yeah, I think that they definitely allowed this to be a
Fun.
Deadpool 3. Like it's not. It's like those movies got transplanted over and they just had a playground, not they brought it over and tried to Disneyfy it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
And that is, I think, an advantage to the film and a disadvantage to the Marvel Cinematic Universe as a whole.
I just wonder how many Disney reps were drinking bicarbonate during the screening for the studio. Because, you think of all these hey, it's a small world, happy thoughts that they're going into the screening room to watch this and going, oh my God, what are we releasing?
So I would say the same thing, but with the added twist of they're going, oh my God, they're going to see what we're really like. Yeah. Because freaking Disney execs are probably some of the most evil people,
morally bankrupt people on the planet.
Holy crap! How have sales been here? Because through the roof.
Okay, so initially the opening weekend we had it on 4 screens. So we had 3 movies in a 6-screen theater.
Wow!
And they were all 4 screens were selling out.
Wow!
We had 2,000 people days.
Jeez.
Yeah. I don't know if this place has ever seen that.
Maybe not since the Avengers.
I haven't seen that since I left Austin.
Yeah, that is an insane number of people.
Just amazing. And the good thing about it too, and talking about this with the owners, they definitely noticed there's a demographic shift in this theater now too, to a younger audience. And the great thing about that, they drop money. Yes. Here, a ton of money on the snack bar and the restaurant and the parlor area, and we are so thankful for that.
Yeah, but that's what allows this place to exist because Disney takes 65% of everything.
And I loaded up on merch for this thing. I was super nervous.
Yeah, it's been 2 weeks, and I was able to get a cup today.
That's the last.
Suck it, everyone else.
But we had 270-ounce metal popcorn tins that were gone the Thursday night.
Jeez.
They were it was 1 case of 40.
Was that the one with the big open mouth, or was this a different one?
No, this was actually a tasteful one.
Yes, tasteful.
Not the
and
open
Deadpool,
mouth.
the two things I associate with one another.
Not the open mouth one. I have standards, but I had 2 different tubs, 3 different cups, the metal tin. I really, and I got multiple cases where normally I wouldn't.
Yeah.
It's gone.
Yeah. People love Wolverine.
Yeah.
And I mean, they love Deadpool too, especially since the movies have definitely amped up Deadpool's status as far as just social awareness, overall awareness.
I didn't really care for the second one.
I didn't either, but I also didn't care for the first one all that much.
See, I like the first one.
I think it's not that I
like the fact that they were doing it justice and were making it R-rated and, doing it the way that they should have been done in the comic book rather than the glossing over that they did of it during X-Men Wolverine Origins movie, which was really bad.
Why do you take the merc with the mouth and sew him shut? That's so stupid.
Yeah.
Not even sew him shut. It'd be different if his lips were sewed shut and you could tell he was trying to talk and be
these metal bars coming out of his arms.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was ridiculous.
That's why they made a joke about killing that in the last Deadpool movie.
I kept waiting for a Green Lantern reference too.
Oh, they did.
Oh, they did.
Not in this one, but in Deadpool 2, there's the end scene where he's traveling through time.
Oh, okay.
It cuts to Ryan Reynolds, the person looking at the Green Lantern script and going, "Yeah," and then a bullet right through his forehead, and he falls over. And Deadpool goes, "No," and then moves on. He also killed Baby Hitler, I think.
I don't remember a whole lot about the second one either. Than Cable was the bad guy and it was Josh Brolin.
Yeah, but he wasn't really the bad guy.
No, but
but
maybe I should watch that again.
all right, so let's talk about story here.
Okay.
So basically, the story is that he is trying to find a Wolverine to be an anchor person
Because
for his entire
timeline
universe.
is being extinct.
So he has to save his timeline in the multiverse by getting a new Wolverine to this place. So he goes and tries to find a bunch of different Wolverines. Very funny. Short Hugh Jackman is hilarious.
And Henry Cavill
Yes.
is one of them.
I wonder if that'll be...
So apparently Henry Cavill threw up when he did that scene too.
Because he was smoking cigars for 8 hours?
Yeah.
It was like 4 shots. Why did he have to do that for so long?
Yeah.
Was there more to that scene?
I have a feeling like the director's cut of this thing is like 3 hours long.
It must be, because there's got to be so much more that they did.
Well, at least it's more interesting than Horizons.
It's definitely more coherent than Horizon.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he's trying to find this variant of Logan to replace the anchor person, and then they end up in the void because the TVA is trying to stop Wade from doing this because there's a rogue agent at the TVA who wants to destroy his timeline just to prove that the TVA can be more efficient, even though they're all entirely existing out of time and don't die, as far as I understand. So that doesn't make sense. But yeah, and then they get stuck in the void. Then most of the movie happens in the void. I would say that's like where you spend about 50-60% of the runtime.
And that's where you see a lot of the really good references.
Yeah, and I think it was smart to use the void that way. It's not necessarily a new thing because that's what Loki did. That's basically the entire.
I never saw that TV show.
I haven't seen season 2, but season 1 of Loki is genuinely, I think, very good.
Okay.
And definitely the best thing to come out of Marvel since Endgame, as far as like
You mean not She-Hulk Attorney at Law?
I don't know what you're talking about. And if Marvel has any brains in their head, they won't know what you're talking about either.
Yeah, plausible deniability guys.
Exactly.
Look into it.
Oh my gosh. I think I've shared this on the show before, but I'm going to say it again. It's not an attorney show. There is no legal proceedings because the writers said, well, we started writing and realized we can't write good court drama. I'm like, then get a different writer. It's called Attorney at Law, not make fun of old Hulk and do yoga to show that woman better than man. Anyway, and look, I don't care. I'm not choosing a side on that social issue. I'm saying it was crap writing.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
So you're not anti-feminist. You're just anti-bad writing.
I'm anti-bad writing, and if that's a controversial opinion, so be it.
Oh no, I'm all for like. And that's when I'm wondering how Eli got a script and is going to screw up Borderlands that we're going to find out tomorrow.
To be fair, it's Borderlands. It was probably screwed before he started. But yeah, so they meet Cassandra, who is apparently Charles Xavier's twin, who got yeeted out of existence by the TVA.
She was aborted.
I think, did she say before she was even born?
I think so.
Yeah.
And those scenes where she like sticks her fingers into people's heads are really disturbing.
Oh, that was, I think, a really cool effect, but I don't think I ever want to see it again. It didn't get me. When it was under Deadpool's mask, you're just like, fingers sticking through mask. It's not that bad. But when they get to Paradox and she sticks her fingers in his head and she's like moving his eyeball and you see it like popping out and stuff. I mean, very cool and like good on them because it really didn't look. The only time it looked bad, I think, was when she like grabs him and starts walking, and you can really get the rubber doll effect with that whole. The suit doesn't look right for some reason, and I'm not bashing the VFX artist. Like that's a really really freaking hard thing to do. Mm-hmm. It was done really well. It's just that's the time it looked the least realistic. But when she's moving through his head and stuff, and the bulges and it. Yeah, it was real. That was real gross.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. So basically, we end up in the void, and that is where all of these people come about. So I think the most interesting thing about this film is the cameos.
Yes.
The jokes.
And then the Void gives the best cameo of the entire film. Wesley Snipes and he even makes fun of himself in that,
Yes.
which is even better.
I did not expect to see Wesley Snipes.
I didn't. That's the part where when that scene happened and the three of them walk into the room, I jumped up out of my seat and was like, yes, this is exactly what I wanted to see.
I love Jennifer Garner. God bless me. I don't know
but
why.
It's another one of the worst Marvel films
Elektra's
ever.
bad. It's so bad.
I was fully expecting Ben Affleck to walk in as Daredevil too, because that's equally as bad.
Weren't Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner married at one point?
Yeah.
So I laughed really hard when she said Daredevil was dead, and he goes, "I'm sorry." She goes, "Eh." It's like that's pretty funny. And then it was good to see Daphne Keane as Laura again. Logan's great. I love that movie.
Yeah.
This movie, I did like that they at the beginning they're like, you're maybe wondering how are we going to do this without desecrating a character in a loved memory. We're not.
Yeah, we're not.
And then using Wolverine's skeleton to fight the TVA and stuff. It's very funny. It's very bloody.
And that was actually one of the opening sequence is really good to see in 3D.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, the effects on that were done like really well.
Yeah. In 2D, I mean, how do you not make it look fake? It's a metal skeleton, but I don't know. There was something about the.
But the best is that the music is in syncs. Bye,
and he's dancing to it the whole time. It's exactly as ludicrous as it should be.
Yeah.
I was seated next to someone who was dancing along with him the whole time. It was
it a little kid?
No, it was a I don't know, probably a teenager, early 20s. But
so the best was trying to educate my staff because there was this huge fight like opening weekend between my staff members. Is it NSYNC or is it Backstreet Boys? And I was like, it's NSYNC.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, how do you? I'm like, okay, I grew up in that time frame and you weren't even thought of. So I'm like, trust me.
Before you were about to twinkle in your father's eye.
Yes.
I was dancing to NSYNC.
And then the Like a Prayer sequence too is just is equally as amazing. And the story behind that too, like they wanted that on the soundtrack, but Madonna wouldn't let it. And Ryan Reynolds was trying to convince her that you really should have this on the soundtrack. You're letting us use it in the movie, which we're greatly appreciative of, but it really does need to be on the soundtrack. And she said no because she has a special commemorative edition of that album coming out around like this time or sometime early this fall. And she didn't want it to interfere with record sales for that. And Ryan Reynolds was like, do you realize how much it's going to catapult those record sales?
Yeah.
And she was still like, no. And even I sit there reading that article going, really? I'm like, no wonder I don't like Madonna.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't even care about Madonna's music. The only song I care about is Like a Virgin, and it's not because of her. It's because of Like a Surgeon by Weird Al Yankovic. That's the only version I care about. Everything else, Madonna, if it disappeared from the timeline, I would not cry.
Yeah, we're good with it.
Do not care. Gambit. Okay, let's talk about Gambit. Okay, so this is one of the earliest things I remember like following very closely as a comic book movie fan because I love Gambit. I have always loved Gambit. I had this little book of how to draw Marvel characters as a kid, and Gambit was like I loved drawing him, and so Gambit was just like. I was so excited when they announced that, and I even thought that Taylor Kitsch did a good job with him in
the origin
movie.
Yeah,
not great, but it was fun to watch him, and I liked the using the staff to like boom and like flip over stuff. Like
the visual style of that character they did very well.
It's really cool, and I wanted more of that. And just knowing that it was not going to happen for so long, and then seeing him pop up and kind of complete that journey, and joking about because it's Channing Tatum who had been trying to play this character for like a decade, and seeing him show up and go, I think I was born here. It's hard to tell. like having that joke be still about the history of these movies and stuff. I mean, it is in a way. a love letter to these movies that were forgotten or never got to happen because of Fox mishandling things. And and so I think that I appreciated that a lot. I would have liked to see more of that, but I think we got enough that it's like, okay, cool.
The outtake reels during the first part of the credits there, I think is just really cool.
Yeah, showing. Did I say love letter? I think I did.
Yeah,
that's the love letter. It's like, here's all of this stuff and Hugh Jackman's journey through this and stuff. I don't know what went wrong in Hugh Jackman's career to make him feel like he has to come back and keep doing these. I understand doing this one. I don't know if he'll be in more. I don't know if he'll keep going.
A fat bag of Marvel cash.
They did say that. Boy, nothing to bring me back to life faster than a fat bag of Marvel cash. I don't know, because he retired from doing the role because of his age and because of his battle with skin cancer. And so that's why, actually, through a lot of this movie, why he's covered up with the suit is to help with that. That's one of the reasons that they did it. And so, yeah, I don't know if that's something that he's like, yeah, screw it. Yeah, enough money, I'll come back and do it. I don't know.
Doing it until he's 90.
Yeah, well, that's why Deadpool at the end, he goes, to your dying day. Yeah. Let's see. So, Cassandra Nova, I think, is a very interesting villain.
I read comic books sporadically, especially like the more mainstream ones when I was younger, and I don't remember that character ever coming out and all, but I could very well just not have read a series that had her in it. Or if it was something just created for this film, which the idea of her is, good just by itself.
First appearance was in 2001 in the new X-Men 114. So
yeah, see, that's by then I had stopped reading comic books.
By then I couldn't read. I still can't. No, I liked that character. It was confusing what her power level really is, because she's both more powerful than Charles in the sense of how she uses her powers, but also less powerful because she can't unravel someone's mind with just a thought like he can. She has to get inside dirty. And get dirty, she said, yeah. And so I think that's interesting, but also confusing.
A little bit. I can see that, but I think the thing that pulled that off too was the woman that played her was really good.
Oh yeah, she's great. Oh shoot, who was it that played her? It was not Leslie Uggams.
No, Leslie Uggams is Blind Owl.
Yeah, Emma Corrin.
Leslie Uggams is from my generation.
Yeah, she was in something called Good Grief, Lady Chatterley's Lover, My Policeman, Misbehavior. She was in The Crown. She played Diana, Princess of Wales. That's where I know her face from. Yeah. I hadn't really seen her in anything before, but I think she plays an unhinged villain very well.
Yeah.
And boy, that head. Whoa, that is a smooth, shiny. If there ever was like an ad for Manscaped, it should be this one. Not sponsored, by the way. We do not endorse their products unless they give us money. But yeah, I think that was really good.
So if somebody's going to do a Sinead O'Connor film, that's actually who they should go after.
Yeah, actually, I think that would work really, really well.
Yeah, because the same build, and I don't know if she can sing or not, but it can't be any worse than some of these biopic films, like the Whitney Houston one, where the woman couldn't sing.
You don't have to sing to do that, though. Like
voiceover, I know, but
in The Greatest Showman, Jessica, it's not Firth, I can't remember what her name is, but Ferguson, Jessica Ferguson. She plays the singer that gets brought in towards the middle part of the movie when Hugh Jackman's character, I can't remember his name.
I only saw that movie once and I really didn't commit it to memory.
Well, anyway, she comes in, she plays this song that's called Never Enough, and she sings, and it's this incredible thing, but it's a completely different singer. She just lip syncs to it. So you don't have to sing to do this, but if you're insistent that your actor must sing to do the part, then yes, you should probably find someone who can sing to do the part.
Yeah, but then there's movies that go in the opposite direction, and badly, I might add, when it was the Les Mis movie and they had everybody sing in that was, and Russell Crowe, I'm sorry, I like you, man, but you can't sing to save your life.
My wife likes him in that movie, and I have not been able to justify, one, that opinion, or two, liking Les Mis. Anyway, so
I like Les Mis.
I like the Liam Neeson version. Where no singing.
Well, and that's just the book that Victor Hugo wrote. And that's that one's actually really good.
It's a good story. I don't like musicals personally, and I will be roasted for that opinion.
Honestly, for the most part, I tend to agree with you. Most musicals are overblown. They're just not that interesting. I have found a couple over the years that are worth my time and that I actually like. Mean Girls was not one of them. I stayed away from that because it looked like teenage porn.
Yeah,
like that film made those girls look so slutty that it turned me off from wanting to see it at all. Not to mention, I actually like the Lindsay Lohan version too.
I do too. Yeah,
I think it's a fun movie.
Yeah,
but yeah, the newer one. But the ones that I've liked over the Little Shop of Horrors, definitely, because Rick Moranis, you can't do no wrong for me.
Funny enough, I like The Greatest Showman.
I like it too, but I probably will never watch it again. Moulin Rouge, I saw 20 minutes of, I shut it off. I'll never watch that film.
I believe that's what most people did with Moulin Rouge.
No, there's a
diehard fan base.
Oh,
but most people could not stand it.
No, I hated it. And like the Tim Burton Sweeney Todd, I liked. I thought that was good.
Yeah, I did see that, and that was pretty good. Yeah, for some reason it fit in that one, but I think it's just because everything that Tim Burton does is so weird that people singing doesn't seem out of place.
And I think it's called Anna and the Zombie Apocalypse is really good too.
Anna and the Zombie
It's a Christmas zombie apocalypse musical.
Huh.
And it's actually really good.
Okay, I'll have to add that to the list.
But yeah, it's definitely different. But I see the reason why not liking musicals, so I definitely get that.
It's just a personal thing.
That's cool.
It makes me feel weird. I don't like it.
So how are you going to feel about watching Wicked when that comes up?
Well, I'm gonna just not be nice to it.
Oh.
But I'm being upfront about my biases.
Okay.
And this is not a reporting show. This is an editorial show.
Okay.
And so I'm going to edit that movie out of my memory as soon as we see it.
I wish I could do that about Cats.
There are some things that leave an indelible mark on your soul, my friend, and Cats, that's one of them.
Yeah, and the bad part about it is my son loves that film.
My condolences.
Yeah,
I'm starting to think you may be right about using him as a gauge.
Yeah, because he really wants to see Borderlands too.
Oh boy, all righty. Let's see. So Jon Favreau comes back, rejects him from the Avengers. I think do you think that's like a studio note to like have him do that so that we can go, we're going to keep him separate from enough of the stuff that your kids will see that it's okay?
No, Favreau wanted to do it, so I didn't, or at least I thought that's what I had read.
Wanted to do what? Wanted to have
that cameo.
Okay. Well, no, I'm not talking about the cameo. I'm just talking about how they openly reject him from the Avengers program.
Oh, yeah.
In the script.
So they can't do a PG-13 Avengers film with Deadpool.
Right, exactly.
Because that's going
to... that would... I mean, for one, Deadpool and like the stakes that they try to have with the Avengers movies and stuff cannot coexist. They really can't. It's not...
Although Secret Wars is shaping up to be like super good.
Interesting how... Okay, yeah, so that was announced. We've got Robert Downey Jr. coming back. Are we ever going to review this movie, or are we going to talk about everything else?
We are reviewing this movie. Everybody knows that we liked it. We're just talking about everything else.
Yeah, Robert Downey Jr. coming back as Dr. Doom. I actually love that. I'd love to see him as a villain. I think that's...
And then the rumor is Wesley's coming back as Blade in that.
Maybe I hadn't read that, but like after seeing him in this, I'm like, that makes sense. Because they did have Laura got brought into Deadpool's timeline by the end of the movie, so she's there with Logan. But we don't see Elektra or Gambit or Blade.
And there's rumor that Gambit is supposed to be part of this too, and it will be Channing Tatum.
Really?
He's agreed to it.
I think that would be awesome. I did read on Joe Blow just a minute ago that he's hopeful that he'll finally get his solo movie now. So there's, I don't know if that means that stuff's still up in the air for that character and its future at Marvel.
It's hard to say with the way MCU is being run. Like, it seems like it's a blind monkey on a trampoline that's like figuring out their career path.
Now that's a picture.
Tell me I'm wrong.
No, you're right. I think that's a great way to explain it. I just wasn't ready for it. A blind monkey on a trampoline. Yeah, no, that's totally fair. Yeah, it's well, they've had to course correct because of the Jonathan Majors controversy.
Yeah, well,
because of the poor reception of their films. And on one hand, it's like I wonder if they could have pulled something cool out of it by the end if they'd been allowed to follow those plans.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, I'm like, well, you saw what they did with Star Wars. And they didn't course correct after everyone went, this sucks. You're sucking the life out of this and we hate it. And now we have The Acolyte, which is such utter garbage. I would rather put a red hot poker in my ears than have to
I've
listen
stayed
to
away
any
from
of
that
it.
purposely from all the bad things that you've said. I'm just not interested.
It is. I tried to watch it. I had to just watch people summarize it because I couldn't. It's so boring and it thinks it's so smart, but it's dumb. It's stupid as can be. It's terrible writing. It's terrible writing mixed with boring performances, mixed with, we got a little mole guy and he's cute. Okay, great. I don't care. I don't care if you got a cute mole guy.
So is he the new Jar Jar Binks?
No, he's better than Jar Jar Binks. It's just he's packaged in this thing that's just like, oh, we've got 4 switches and blah. And it's so stupid. And I know that there's precedence for this. I know that there have been space witches. I watched all of the Clone Wars, okay, which is not the greatest Star Wars media of all time, but I watched it all. There are space witches in that. It's a whole thing. It's Dathomir. It's where Darth Maul comes from. I get it. You have a precedent for it. It's still dumb. It's still stupid. And it plays on this idea that if there's a power in the universe, then there's a bunch of people who interpret that power as the same thing, even though they use it in different ways and blah. So this is actually the Force, but it's not the Force because we're not Jedi, we're witches. And they do that. But at the end of the day, it's just trying to tell people that there is no truth, there is no God, it's nothing.
Do I need those take those neck veins out for a walk?
Yes, please. Also, the showrunner says that there's no way C-3PO isn't gay or R2-D2 isn't gay or is a lesbian or something.
They're
I'm just
robots.
like, exactly. It doesn't make any sense. So when that's your showrunner, obviously everything else they're going to do with the canon is garbage and stupid. Not because of the person's
LGBTQ stuff.
I'm not even talking
It's
about
just
any of that.
dumb writing.
I'm just talking about a person who says that, knowing they're going to get a rise out of people, but also because it's probably something they truly believe, tells me that you don't care about the story.
Okay, so are they doing that on purpose just to get a rise out of people? Or?
Probably because they think it's funny. And look, it worked.
Okay.
But on the other hand, look, if you tell your core audience you hate them, you're not going down as one of the people that they go, hey, you did a good job.
Green Day's been doing that for years.
Yeah, that's it's worked for them, I guess. Then again, the only thing I care about from Green Day is the song "Canadian Idiot" by Weird Al Yankovic.
Here's a good example of a movie too that did that, and it wasn't well received, but I thought it was just so clever on how it insulted the audience that went to go see it that I had to like it just for that reason. That's Jennifer's Body.
Yeah.
Because it made fun of the entire emo crowd that was going to see it, made no apology for it at all, and said, you're stupid and your lifestyle is dumb too. But yet everybody kind of embraced that film when they were being made fun of.
I think there's a difference between going, hey, this is dumb, but you're in on the joke, versus, hey, we're going to say that this robot's a lesbian just to piss you off. That's just being a jerk.
Yeah.
It's just being a jerk. That's all it is. And I don't, you're just being...
Not to mention, does it really serve any purpose to the story?
No, not at all. But that's the thing, is neither does any of the other stuff they did in the show. Okay. Miranda Bachran's good in this.
Which one is she?
Wade's former fiancée.
Yeah, but she's in it for like 5 seconds.
Yeah, but she's good when she's in it.
Well, she needs redeemed after Greenland. Another disaster film.
You love disaster films.
Yeah,
what are you talking about?
Don't get me started. And I'm still shocked at how like Twisters is Top Gun Maverick of this year. That movie won't die.
Yeah.
And as the smallest theater I can put it in, it'll still sell out.
I still like it.
I hated it.
I liked it.
I absolutely hated that film. And I tell everybody that I didn't like it. And everybody gives me that. It's almost like I said, like something horribly shocking that, you know, oh, well, I love that. It was so great. And yeah, it was stupid. And they were like, oh my God, really?
How dare you?
What's wrong with you? I actually have good taste in movies. Thank you. Which isn't entirely true.
But there was an awesome fire tornado, Andy.
There's a lot of crap that I really like.
Yeah.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
That I can't do it. I can't watch it again. I've pooped my pants once to that movie. I will not do it again.
There's a lot of those 80s horror films that I really like, though, they're bad movies. And even like Sharknado, that the first one, it's hilarious, but
I think though that is one of the ones where they're like, sci-fi does these really dumb movies, but they try to take it seriously, and we're just going, nah, let's just see if we can get them to like it's like a joke pitch that they got approved and went, okay, I guess
Ghost
we'll
Shark
do this
was
then.
one of them.
Yeah. Ghost Shark.
Yes.
Yep. I know about Ghost Shark.
Who was that person stoned out of their mind when they wrote the check for that thing?
Because even it's sci-fi. The executives there have no idea what they're doing.
That's obvious.
Except for whoever greenlit Resident Alien, which is a hilarious show.
Yeah, I've heard that that's really good.
Although that's been moved to USA. It's no longer on Sci-Fi. So
I didn't even I see it on, I think it's on Netflix.
Yeah, it's on Netflix now. Hulu is where I first came across it, and then it got added to Netflix this year.
I like Alan Tudyk too. So.
Oh, he's so funny. Oh, just Hannah and I, we quote that show all the time. And like, if I watch 5 or 6 episodes, I'll start talking like him in the show. Mm-hmm. It's a thing I've always done my whole life. Just like it's kind of an acting exercise, is to find the listen to how someone talks and try to copy it.
Right.
And so
I've always liked him since I saw him in Knight's Tale.
Oh gosh, yeah, I grew up with The Knight's Tale.
Yeah,
Knight's Tale's great. I had the VHS, man. We had this van with a little screen in the middle.
I didn't think you were old enough for VHS.
Oh, I'm old enough for VHS. Also, we were poor. So we had this van with a little screen in the middle, and on the left, on the driver's side, by the back bucket seat, there was a VHS player. Ooh. And you could put a VHS down into this and just pray to God you never put any crumbs down in there, because they are not coming out and it may break everything. And so you load this from the top, just, and then boom, Knight's Tale.
See, and that's the criticism I get from people too about, like, I really did like that movie. I liked how they put modern music into it to kind of enhance that film, but yet William Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet that Baz Luhrmann did, I absolutely despise.
It's not good.
Because the complaint that people give back to me was, well, that film did it too, but yet you didn't like that. You're right, because it's a crappy movie.
There's a very different tone. Knight's Tale is tongue in cheek,
and it's meant to be.
Yeah. Romeo and Juliet's very earnest about what it's doing poorly.
I didn't like the Great Gatsby thing that Baz Luhrmann did too.
But you do like Elvis. I
did like Elvis.
Interesting.
It didn't go there. Well, at least it didn't have like Jay-Z doing the Elvis music like in I think that's the part that really screwed up Gatsby for me too, was using like modern day hip hop in the 1920s, and no.
I didn't know they had done that. Yeah, my brother loves the Great Gatsby book, and so
I like the book too. And I like the one that Robert Redford did back in the 60s.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It just the musicals.
It's not really a musical though.
No, but anytime I was trying to derail. I don't know.
Okay.
I was surprised to see Aaron Stanford back as Pyro. I loved Pyro as a kid from X2, and seeing him back was cool.
Yeah.
He looks more deranged than ever.
Yes. Which is what the character needed.
Yes, absolutely. I like that. You know, when he starts going off on his little thing, Wolverine just punches him and goes, "Not everyone gets a speech." Like, it's, those little moments where they're like, "We don't have time for this. It's fine. Just move on." I enjoyed that.
And of course, the Johnny Blaze.
Johnny Blaze. Oh yeah. Did you watch the end credit scene for this?
Yes, okay. I did.
Yeah. So having him do all that, Look, that's very much Chris Evans. Like that's just Chris Evans having fun.
And that's I like him in Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
In Scott Pilgrim versus the World, he did a movie called Before We Go that he actually directed.
Really?
And I love that movie.
I'd never even heard of that.
I just came across it on streaming once, and it's one of my favorite Chris Evans movies. There's just a feeling to it that's very.
Because the one that I wanted to like but just didn't was Gifted.
Yeah, I never saw it. I saw the preview and went, I don't think it's going to be good. I don't know why I had that feeling, but I was right.
You were right.
Funny, that happens a lot, but people never believe me.
Yeah.
Except with Twisters, apparently, which was bad. But I think that, yeah, having Chris Evans come back and play his character from the Fantastic Four is a great little nod.
MCU needs to stop rebooting that thing, though. They're not. I guarantee the next one they're going to do is going to bomb as well.
Probably, but maybe not, because if the Fantastic Four movie, think about this, it's got a lot of big names. Pedro Pascal's playing Reed Richards. It's called First Steps, so it's like it's further back in time in the timeline. Like there's a lot of retro stylings to the art and everything.
Because I never saw the one with Michael B. Jordan and Miles Teller and
I did.
Ooh, I'm sorry.
Oh, man.
Would you like me to give you money back just for the time spent?
I'd like a Trank gun if you would. That's not a gun that has tranquilizers. I'd just like to shoot Josh Trank.
But wasn't the guy that did that too was the same guy that did Chronicle?
Yes.
And Chronicle is really good.
The thing is, Josh Trank says that Fox screwed up his movie. And that he said there's a really good cut of this. And that may be true, but also he was difficult to work with. But maybe he was difficult to work with because the executives suck.
Yeah.
Like,
there's
crap rolls downhill.
Yeah, and there's only so many times you can push and pull these people before they go, I'm done.
Especially when you are a person who's been plucked from relative obscurity after directing one film. They put you in that spot because they go, you're a name. People like the name because you're hot right now. Oh my gosh, you're so hot right now. And then you're going to do what we say because we gave you this chance. And if you don't, you'll never work in this town again. And Josh Trank has not done a lot of stuff since.
No.
And the last thing he did, I'm pretty sure, was panned pretty like globally. But yeah, back to Fantastic Four. Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, so hot right now. Joseph Quinn, who was just in Quiet Place Day One.
Oh, okay.
And so he, I believe, is going to be...
Isn't he Johnny Blaze?
Storm? Yeah, he's Johnny Storm.
Okay.
Johnny Blaze is Ghost
Rider, sorry.
Even Moss Backrock, who I don't know what he's from. A lot of stuff, apparently. Tesla, Sharpstick, No Hard Feelings. Ew.
I like No Hard Feelings.
Oh, right. No, I'm sorry. I was thinking about Anyone But You.
Oh, yeah. No, that was terrible. With Sydney Sweeney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Julie Garner, Ralph Ineson. Oh, I haven't. That's surprising. This guy was in. He's in Nosferatu. I'm
really like I know I should be against Nosferatu, especially being redone, especially being in color. And, the Murnau one is a classic. Like, there's no doubt.
But Willem Dafoe.
That, and it's the same guy that's in the Crow reboot coming out playing Nosferatu. And for The Crow, I have kind of a lot of hate against that film already, and it hasn't even come out yet. But for Nosferatu, I think it works. I think the director on that I really like. And it's the same guy that did The Northman and The Lighthouse.
Yeah.
I want to say Joel Edgerton is the guy's name, but I'm not positive.
I don't think it's Joel Edgerton because that was
that's the actor.
The actor. Yeah. Let's see. Matt Shackman, who's directing Fantastic Four: First Steps, directed episodes of WandaVision. Excuse me. WandaVision, The Great, which actually is a very, very funny show that also you should not show your kids. And It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Fargo, Game of Thrones. So he's done a lot of stuff.
Okay, but this would be really his first feature. Not sure if you want to really do that with Fantastic Four though.
Let's see. Yeah. Well, second one. He did one called Cut Bank. So I don't know what that is.
Nope, don't know that either.
I think that there's potentially the Fantastic Four could be good. I mean, it's like the first superhero family. Like they're very important to Marvel, and the last two that happened were Fox. So, the last three. I mean, the last two iterations, I should say. The Fox.
Well, the first two were Fox. What was the last one?
It was also Fox.
Oh, it was also
the reason they made it is
three times.
Yes, they made it because if they didn't do a version of it every so often, they would lose the rights. They've actually had it since the 90s.
Well, even before that, because there's a Roger Corman version from like the late 70s, early 80s.
Ooh, something in it.
And then now that he's dead, now's the time to bring that sucker out.
I would laugh so hard if Marvel just like announced all these people and then they just released the 80s version in theaters. And everyone's just like, what is this? And they're like, it's history. What are you talking about?
Well, just like there's that Captain America film that the guys from Canon Pictures did.
Yes. Is it Red Brown that's in those?
Yeah.
I've met him.
Oh, really?
I've met Red Brown. He's a very nice man. He still wears the costume. He has his shield, and he's a very nice guy. Those movies are bad.
Yeah, they are. Well, there's only one. Or
was he in? Was there a show too? Though there was some.
There might have been. Yeah. I just remember like the 20 because I still have the teaser poster for it.
Do you really?
Yeah, I do.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that so let's loop back around to Deadpool and just finish that off so we can get into a little bit of news that we have.
Okay.
I like overall the silliness of it, the ridiculousness of it, ridiculousness of it, I should say. I think that Sean Levy did a good job as directing it. I think the movie looks good. There was never really anything distractingly bad about it or anything like that. It's high quality, $200 million budget. It should be.
Right.
And I mean, for an R-rated film, that's pretty high budget.
And worth every penny.
Yeah. But then at the same time, I think that because it's a thin story, it's not like groundbreaking movie making in any particular way. But it's competently done the whole way through, and I would, like I said, if you like this kind of thing, you're going to like this movie.
Yes.
If you're a Deadpool fan, I don't think there's anything in here that make you go, oh, this is not Deadpool,
right?
Because Ryan Reynolds is just Deadpool, but without the ability to heal. It's just who he is. You said you met him and he was very nice.
Yeah, I did at CinemaCon one year.
Yeah. There is something about the character of Deadpool that this movie's not necessarily for me. As much as I would say, like, if you like this kind of thing, if you like the character of Deadpool, this is going to be a great one for you. You're going to enjoy it. And I did enjoy the movie. But Deadpool and the comedy stylings of Deadpool is, to me, all of the worst impulses I had as a 15-year-old made into a movie. I mean, or made into a character. Like, it is anyone can string together, a bunch of gross insults
and F-bombs.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan Reynolds does it better than most. I'll give him that.
Actually, I think that's one of my complaints about this too. Like, the F-bombs get much.
I know, and look,
and it's to the point where it's not funny anymore.
Exactly, and that's where you can, I believe, with a joke, you can dig a hole to where it's not funny anymore. But eventually, you come out the other side and it's funny again.
Right, and
they did not do that.
Well, I think there are parts in this that it does happen to me, but it does come out the other side and it's still funny. But just enough, I guess, time lapses in the film where you don't hear the F word.
Yeah.
That, and seeing all the Deadpools come through the portal, and then of course Dog Deadpool, and
yes, yeah,
the parts where Dog Deadpool are just all up tongue in Ryan Reynolds' face too, are just you want to throw up and laugh all at the same time.
I was just like, that thing licks its own butt, man. You got to stop. You got to don't lick its tongue back. But yeah, Dogpool is very funny, and that dog won ugliest dog in the world a couple years ago, and that was
Great Britain.
Great Britain, yeah,
yes,
yeah. And so just good for the dog.
Yeah,
but yeah, overall, I think there were so many F-bombs that it wasn't funny anymore. And at a certain point, I was just like, I don't need to hear Wolverine say it again. I don't.
And it's not that I'm offended by that, but there's a limit.
Yeah. I think there's even if you use language like that, I think even people who curse without even like it's just like breathing to them sometimes can hear someone go on a string of things and go, that was a little much, brother. And that's what I felt this movie was by the time.
I get that from my staff sometimes when I'm in my office.
You just need something happy, something truly great and happy to bring you back. Might I recommend watching G-Force? Now that'll bring you back into to a happy place. Got him.
I was going to say my wife, actually. So.
Well, okay, fine. But I mean, is your wife a gerbil? G-Force has got that on her.
Well,
it's full of gerbils. So, what do you mean, well?
I had to do that just because I can see her right now looking at her phone like, listen,
Yeah, but now you're going to have to go home and explain why you said, you might be a gerbil, honey. I'm sorry. I don't know why I said that. Okay, yeah, I think it's good. It's fine. You know, it's not for me in the sense that while I enjoyed it and stuff, there is that part of me that's just like...
See, and actually I've seen it twice now.
Have you really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you went and rewatched it for this or just for fun?
No, I watched it by myself when the keys immediately went active because I really wanted to see this. And then I took Jessica to see it.
Okay, yeah.
And
what did Jessica think?
I think she thought it was funny.
Okay.
Like... I think she pretty much had the same opinion that I did. Yes, the story, a little on the thin side. F-bombs, it gets a bit repetitive, but overall, it's a thoroughly entertaining film.
Yeah, it definitely is that. I mean, the fights are pretty good. I did think that end fight where they're fighting against all of the people that work for, what was her name? Cassandra?
Yeah.
I did think that got a little bit into like shaky cam, can't tell what's happening territory a couple of times. Definitely with Jennifer Garner's character, and I don't know if that was a function of her. You know, I don't know. Maybe she's been hurt or something. But she did Peppermint, and she was real spry when she did that, and that was just a couple of years ago. So I don't know about that, but there
was
were
a
definitely
little bit longer than that for
well, maybe 5 or 6 at this point. I don't know. I'm approaching 30, so now time has started to become just one long string.
That's actually a decent film too.
I like Peppermint. Yeah, it's
too.
It has I think maybe some of the same issues with just thin story and a lot of cursing that didn't always need to be there, but it's a dumb action movie.
Yeah,
and it's fun, and I like it.
I still see Silent Night. That's the one that last couple.
Is that the one with David Harbour?
Yeah. Well,
no, that's Violent Night.
That's Violent Night. The Santa Claus one. That's generally a big adult Home Alone, which is Violent Night's actually really good.
I want to see that, and I'm definitely going to rewatch Krampus this year.
I love Krampus.
It's so dumb.
I have a Krampus shirt.
Much. Do you really?
Yeah, because it's in the shape of the Starbucks logo, and I hate Starbucks. So that's score.
The embodiment of evil.
Yeah,
Starbucks.
They are.
It's funny because you thought I was going to say Krampus.
Selling crappy coffee to the masses.
Gosh. Yeah, don't even get me started on Starbucks. You thought I had thoughts about the Acolyte? Wait until I have to talk about spending $9 on a cup of coffee my wife will only drink half of.
So, no, Silent Night it was John Woo's return to directing.
Oh.
And it's a film about a guy's family that was murdered in a drive-by, and he can't talk. He took a bullet to the throat. So the rest of the film, there's no dialogue.
With Joel Kinnaman?
Yes.
Okay.
It's actually really good.
Okay. It's going on the list.
It's a lot better than you. And it's funny, like with the lack of dialogue film, how the story still flows along and carries itself.
I love movies where there's like a lack of dialogue. I wish The Wild Robot was going to be more like that, but
yeah, well, I still have high hopes for The Wild Robot.
I'm sure it'll be good. I just think it would have been better if they had like had that constraint, like they had to do everything, especially because in animation, like that's the place to do it.
Well, okay, the flip side to that coin is WALL-E. Like as much as I like that, I really do like WALL-E.
Yeah,
but people hated it. And I think for 2 reasons. It exposed a truth that people did not want to see, which is that they're going to get lazy, fat, and like have everything handed to them. Yeah. And I
just got lazy and fat. No one's handed me anything.
Anna does.
No, most of the time she makes me get up and do it. She says,
okay. Well,
she says
so.
I need to learn independence. Something about I'm not your mother. I don't know what. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. My wife is very helpful.
And They didn't like a lot of people just didn't like the fact for lack of dialogue, but I thought it worked.
It did. Yeah, and those characters are so adorable.
Yeah,
and they don't have to say.
I couldn't tell you how many refunds I gave out for that movie. And I was like, you're an idiot.
Humanity's doomed.
So I think that's why they went more dialogue with the Wild Robot. They didn't want to see a repeat of WALL-E.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Also, I think there's a lot of talking in the book. So
I've never read the book.
I saw a couple pages of it when I was. Doesn't matter. I was in a bookstore anyway.
Okay.
I just realized that Ryan Reynolds' production company is called Maximum Effort, and he says that when he goes to fight Wolverine, he goes Maximum Effort. I'm like, why would you say that? I get it now. I get it now. I wonder if he says that they're running 21 laps at any point, because that's Sean Levy's production company.
See, and that's at least a good thing about seeing it more than once. There is stuff to be seen that you will miss.
Yeah, absolutely.
The first time you see this.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's the obvious stuff that they make a big deal out of, but I'm sure there's a lot of stuff happening in the background that, yeah, you would not guess. I mean, there are there are people who are doing. What's the right word? Cameos. God, I can't talk today. I'm out of practice. There are people who are doing cameos that you would not even notice on a first watch. I mean, Toad was in there. They make a big deal out of him being there.
Right.
But then, there's a completely different actress, because it used to be Olivia Munn, but then they're playing Psylocke. This was Aisha Hussein, who I don't know what she's been in.
Well, who was the devil-looking one that keeps appearing and reappearing? Night Demon?
I think it's Azazel.
Okay.
Azazel. Basically, Red Nightcrawler.
Alan Cummings was the guy that played him originally.
So that's Nightcrawler. I don't know if Nightcrawler. I don't know. Is Azazel like a evolution of Nightcrawler? I don't think he is.
I thought it was the same character.
No, because Nightcrawler's blue. So Azazel. He's a member of the Hellfire Club of Russian origin who wields a sword. So he's...
Yeah, but did he wield a sword at all in the movie? I don't remember that.
No, I don't think so. But yeah, he was in X-Men Days of Future Past. The character was... He's among several mutants who were captured, experimented on, and killed by Bolivar Trask. So I don't know if... he was Mystique's father, apparently. But he's an alternate timeline variant based on his appearance in X-Men First Class. But he's not credited, actually. That's interesting. That's rude. And played by Eduardo Gago Munoz, I think. Oh, Lady Deathstrike was in this with the fingers from the first X-Men. She was in it. I like that. That's cool. It's not the same actress though. It's more variant stuff. So
was she in the first movie or the second one?
It was the first X-Men. I'm pretty sure. Well, okay.
I don't think so. I think that was in the second one.
You are correct. It's X2. How am I always wrong?
Because you're facing off with me.
Yes. I lose IQ points when I come in this room.
Yes, my young Padawan.
Once you watch movies, you will become more powerful than you can ever imagine.
No, you'll become a bigger nerd than you already are.
God help us all if that happens. But yeah, I think it's good. You want to talk about news?
Yeah.
All right, let's get into news real quick. There's not a lot that was recent, so there's not too much here. So we're almost done. If you're trying to get all the way through to the end, home stretch, I promise.
Yeah.
That's a Deadpool reference.
There's a couple of things I'll probably throw in there that you don't know.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Not much.
Well, let's start with those if you know what they are.
Okay, so Kraven the Hunter got its official rating.
That's the one thing that I wrote down.
It got an R rating, and I don't know if it's going to help it at all.
I have no idea, but I'm even more fascinated. It's rated R.
Well, the trailer looked like it was going to be rated R. There was no way around that.
You know what's funny? I didn't get that. I thought PG-13, but maybe it's a different trailer. No, they've only put out one, right?
Right.
Okay.
But it's pretty violent.
Yeah, but violence is one thing. Blood and gore is what makes violence.
Yeah, but that comic book is very bloody too.
Yes,
so
yeah.
I figured that if it didn't go the R-rated route, I was probably going to be even more disappointed that I'm setting myself up already for that film.
Well, the other thing is it's rated R for strong bloody violence and language.
Yes.
So how do you think they'll have as many F words in Craven as they do in this?
I don't think it's possible.
I should watch this and just make a tick mark every time I hear the F word. I should come back and
you're probably going to lose count because after a while you don't hear it.
Oh no, I hear it because every time I look for my mother and go, "Did she hear that?" Okay. Also, every child in that row, I was like, they shouldn't hear that. Oh, they shouldn't hear that. Oh, they shouldn't hear that. They shouldn't hear that.
So, if anybody wonders why I pulled Wolves off the trailer list at Grand Avenue, the reason being I had just read this week that it's going to get a limited release, which means we won't get it. And it's going to go right to Apple Plus, which studios, I want to strangle the person that made that decision because streaming
you're
is
a
not
violent person.
No, it's because streaming is not as viable. Did nobody learn from like when Warner Brothers screwed that up and they had day and date releases of things and they were on streaming well and none of their films, all the films that they did that to failed.
Yep.
And this is probably going to be another one. But the hidden side to that too is the other reason they might have done it is the film's not that good. Which I'm hoping is wrong because the trailer for it looked phenomenal. It had George Clooney and Brad Pitt as like rival hitmen. It looked funny. It looked action packed and just looked like a really decent film. And now we're not going to know.
Well, and Apple, so Apple Original Films, that's the subsection of Apple that does this. They won a bidding war for Wolves. It was not like it's from John Watts, who directed...
That's even dumber.
I didn't know it was John Watts. Yeah, he directed the most recent Spider-Man trilogy.
Yeah.
And so apparently there was like $30-40 million spent just for Clooney and Pitt.
Right.
And so
you'd want to think you'd put that in the box office or in theaters to like make some of that money back.
Right. Yeah. But now they've pulled the plug, according to I'm looking at an article on the Bulwark. Bulwark? Bulwark. I don't know. Whatever. Putting this in streaming has no... It doesn't make any sense to me.
Why? They should have done that with Fly Me to the Moon and saved the theatrical stuff for Wolves.
Yeah.
I mean, I never did get to see Fly Me to the Moon. But honestly, it didn't look like much.
I think, Scarlett Johansson, I don't think pulls in... I don't think her star power is what
it's not what it used to be. Unless she's going to like appear fully nude in something, I don't think so.
That's so sad to me because I think
honestly, I'm not saying that from like I'm saying that just to be the honest truth.
Yeah, no, I think Scarlett Johansson,
but she's got a voice in Transformers 1.
That's right. But like Lucy didn't pull in nearly as much as
because the ending to that is stupid.
Well, that's what I've heard. And Luc Besson, maybe he fell down and
I want an apology from him for that film. Like that film started out fantastic. It was La Femme Nikita all over again, which I really wanted to see until she turns into a supercomputer.
Yes.
No, the dumbest thing ever.
That makes perfect sense. That's why they did it in Transcendence.
That movie sucks too.
It was bad.
That was the first film because I was running Marble Falls. I went on to the local radio station every Friday morning to do like tell what was coming out and do movie trivia. And it was the first film I publicly bashed. And I was like, I don't care if we're playing this. This movie sucks. Because it was terrible. And the worst part about it, I didn't fall asleep.
Oh, no. Oh, I'm so sorry.
So I stayed awake through this
Your
entire
superpower failed you.
Garbage. But then, so one of the trailers that got dropped this week online that I wish it was in our database to put on something is a movie called Saturday Night coming out in October.
That's right.
And it's about the first broadcast of Saturday Night Live. The trailer is phenomenal. It has me already. I don't need to see another frame.
It's Jason Reitman.
Right. So that's the other thing too.
Yeah.
Like it, I really want to like Sony, we need to play this here. Give me a print. or give me a screen, give me a hard drive. I don't care. Whatever I need to do to play that movie.
Just send it for me, and I won't show anyone.
So it shows like my parents' parenting skills. Like when I was 6 or 7, and I stayed up on Saturday nights watching that. Probably not the best thing for me to see at like that age, but yet they wouldn't let me go see Jaws.
All right, to be fair, I did see a video this week of some, I think they were either watching the Mag or they were watching Jaws. They didn't say, but there's this Scottish woman talking to her little girl, and she's like, so what happened? You were watching the Big Shark movie, did you like it? No, I don't like it. It's a bad film. Like, she's so cute about it. Yeah, kids can't watch Jaws most of the time. Most of the time, they're not ready for it.
So, especially, there's a clip of that, the part where the Kittner kid gets killed. There's only, I think, like still frames of it. There's not even a full motion of that scene. But even the pictures that I have seen are really like, oh my God, they were going to show that? Showing the shark come up out of the water with the kid in the shark's mouth and chomp down.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. Like the pictures are disturbing. And I was like, maybe my parents had a point when I was
so, yeah.
But that's not how it's done in the final cut of the film. Actually, for how horribly gruesome that scene is, it's done very well.
I would like to see them talk about that in the documentary that's coming out.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for that. I can't
too.
wait to see that. I'm going to rewatch Jaws.
We need to probably just hook that up to one of the projectors here and watch that, just you and me.
I will bring you some special candy bars you like or something if you'll do that for us. I would love to do that. Wait, no, you'll do it for you. Never mind on the candy bars.
Thanks a lot.
I'm kidding. I've already agreed to do it on air like an idiot. And I don't edit these, so I can't edit them.
Yes, you do. That's a lie.
Less than most people think, but.
And then what? So yeah, that trailer. What else you got?
National Treasure 3.
Oh,
cool. So there's the screenwriter, Ted Elliott, revealed on the National Treasure Hunt podcast, which is apparently a thing, that he has been working on the project for the last year and recently completed his first draft of the script. He said it's ready for revisions and teased that he has written familiar faces into the story beyond the returning main characters of Ben Gates, Ben's parents, Patrick Gates, and Dr. Emily Appleton Gates.
We know Nicolas Cage will say yes.
Yes.
Because he doesn't say no to anything.
Also, Riley Poole is back.
I like that guy.
He's not in enough stuff.
No.
He's really good.
He's in a low-grade horror film, too, called P9, I think. One of those kind of like taking women hostage in a parking garage. And it's not Captivity. It's another one of those torture porn films, and he's the bad guy. And I would not recommend it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Alicia Cuthbert's in there?
Huh. Yes. It's extremely gruesome too.
I don't like those kinds of movies.
No, I don't need it. That's where, for as much as I like the Saw franchise, it opened the floodgates for those kind of films. And unfortunately, like for one good film that's made like that, there's 20 behind it that are just will waste a film.
Yeah.
There's no nice way of putting that.
Terrifier. Thanksgiving.
Yeah, well, I'm probably going to play the third one.
Are you really?
Yeah. Like it or not, and I don't know if I'll watch it, those films have a following.
They do.
The last one actually did financially very well at the box office. So I think us taking a chance on that and playing it at Grand Avenue is probably a good idea.
I think that for movies like that, so there's rated R for language and violence. So
right.
Deadpool, right?
Right.
And then there's rated R for, my God, if you bring a child to see this, you should be slapped upside the back of the head.
Yeah.
I think there should be some sort of rule, like legal ruling.
I want CPS on standby at like the entrance of that theater.
And if not CPS, look, because they're running a little thin probably. I think they're probably not funded too well. It's a government program, and even if they are funded well, they won't do their jobs right. But if we could, I would for free come here with a big like fly swatter in the shape of a hand, and anytime a parent walked into that theater with a child in tow, whack whack, right in the face. Whack, whack. What's wrong with you?
Well,
Get out of here.
We do have the policy that no one under 6 after 6 to an R-rated movie,
Good.
even with parents. Like
Now,
that's
can we add the fly swatter policy?
As much as I like it, I gotta say no to that.
At least I have your personal approval, even if I don't have your business approval.
Yes, business-wise, no, but morality-wise, yes.
Cool,
please.
great. At least I know we both dream of the same world we could live in if society was not so terrible.
Right. I'm looking forward to Beetlejuice now. Like, I'm chomping at the bit for that film.
I still need to go back and watch the first one. Haven't watched it.
It's on Max.
Okay, I have that. So I can listen to it all the way up and barely hear anything.
Right.
Lovely. But yeah, just to loop back around to National Treasure 3, the short-lived TV series National Treasure: Edge of History is being treated as canon. So FBI Special Agent Peter Sadisky, who is played by Harvey Keitel, is dead.
Keitel.
Keitel?
Keitel.
Sorry. Don't. What's the. Dang it. Don't Slumdog Millionaire me. It's not that. What is it called?
Reservoir Dogs?
That one. Don't Reservoir Dogs me. That's what I was trying to say.
Okay.
Get it out. I'll edit down the long pause, but I'm going to leave that in just so people can know how embarrassing that was
Harvey
for me.
Keitel.
Harvey Keitel.
Okay.
He was one of the best parts of those movies. I'm really sad. Having him be dead is dumb.
Yeah, Helen Mirren was the other good part of that.
She is coming back.
Okay, good.
So we will have Helen Mirren and Jon Voight and Diane Kruger, Abigail Chase coming back. So I like those characters.
Diane Kruger's another one too that she's very underused too, and she's actually a decent actress.
She's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, and she's easy on the eyes, and she can actually act. So that's even better.
What is it that? She's 48 now. Wow.
I really liked her in Inglourious Bastards.
That's right. That's the other thing I knew.
Yeah.
I knew she was in. I was trying to remember what else she had been in that I had seen that was good. Oh gosh, she was in The Host. Poor girl. Not the Bong Joon-ho. Is that his name?
Yeah.
Not that one. We're talking about the one that was like the Twilight author's other book, The Host.
With Saoirse Ronan?
Yes.
Or I think that I know I got that wrong.
Saoirse.
Saoirse.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I never saw frame one of that because it looked so bad.
It was not loved. Yeah,
it looked terrible.
Maybe she's been doing. She was in Marlowe, which is a Liam Neeson
Oh,
movie.
yeah. I saw that here.
Is that good?
Yeah, it's definitely, a 1950s noir film that there might not really be an audience for that anymore, but I really liked it.
It's got Liam Neeson in it, so I'm kind of sold on it already.
And it's the soft talking, private detective.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's very noirish, and I really dig that. But they just don't make films like that, and probably for the same reason that Marlowe didn't. Jessica and I think were the only ones in the theater when we saw that here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think there's whole styles of cinema that have gone out of fashion that I hope come back someday. Because if you think about, Indiana Jones and that whole concept is basically a serial,
the
adventure
cliffhangers,
thing.
right?
It's that kind of thing.
And National Treasure did that too, and that's why I like those movies as well.
National Treasure, and I think that they're Confess Fletch is probably kind of a similar vein, where it's that detective, solve the mystery kind of thing.
Yeah, but that's more. He's an investigative journalist because that's actually his profession. He's not a private detective,
right?
But gets himself into these situations that are impossible to get out of.
Yeah, and I like the idea of doing The Rocketeer. I loved growing up. I'm not all for reboots and doing everything. That's when I really feel they should take another shot at because the climate of those kind of movies has changed so drastically. That if they tried to do that again now, it probably would do much better than it did when it originally came out. Yeah, it's funny, the time that it came out, I think because it was a period piece, that kind of
and it was very comic booky.
It was very comic booky.
Which was not widely popular at the time. Because the comic book movies they were trying in the early 90s, none of them worked very well.
No. No, they
and
were not.
That's being kind. just like the Captain America one that I mentioned, that was a financial failure.
Yep. Yeah.
And they didn't invest a lot of money in it
But
either.
this one had Joe Johnston at the head.
Right. And it's a great movie.
Billy Campbell's great as the lead.
Jennifer Connelly.
Alan Arkin is in there.
Paul Sorvino.
Yeah. Paul Sorvino's great.
And Timothy
Dalton. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who I really only know Timothy Dalton from
Flash
his
Gordon?
role actually from Chuck. Was it NBC or
Yeah.
I watched every season of Chuck with my family, and yeah, so like I met him. I became aware of him in that, and then was like, what is this guy do? Oh, he's James Bond.
Yeah, he was
One
James.
time?
Two movies.
Two movies.
Two.
That's right.
And actually, the second one, License to Kill, is really good.
Yeah.
Living Daylights, the story to it is kind of hard to work through, but License to Kill, it's very easy to understand. It's not convoluted. It's a straightforward story where a drug dealer tries to kill the American counterpart to him, Felix Leitner, and actually James Bond gives up his license to kill and goes after this guy.
Oh.
And I think
Wouldn't
it's
you
really
want
good.
a license to kill if you're going after a guy?
It was personal, and it was one of the first films that Benicio del Toro was in.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I'm not that well versed in
And Wayne
James
Newton's
Bond.
in it too.
Really?
Yes. As the leader of like a televangelist cult.
Fun.
And he's got like 2 lines in the entire film.
That's more lines than I've had in entire films. So good on him. Oh man, you know what?
Hot Fuzz. You need to see Hot Fuzz.
No, I've seen Hot
Oh,
Fuzz.
so Timothy Dalton's in that too.
Yeah. I forgot about that. That's right. I saw that after Chuck.
Okay.
So yeah. You know what movie is never going to get a reboot or anything, but I don't think it is necessary because it's such a weird time capsule of this one guy's vision that he made happen.
What, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes?
No, but maybe Sky Captain in the World of Tomorrow.
I didn't like that movie.
Nobody did. But
My dad does.
When I was 9, this movie came out, and I watched it and was in utter awe the entire way through because it looked like all of the cartoons I had grown up watching came to life. And I loved the style of it. I didn't understand what was happening. At the end, it's like Noah's Ark, I guess. I don't know, but it was insane. But I loved it as a kid, and I want to go back and watch it again just to see if I can figure out.
It's not. I've tried. It's not good.
But there's a documentary.
It's
on
a movie
YouTube.
I want to like too, and I just can't.
A lot of people felt that way about it. Yeah. I think there's a documentary on YouTube I watched about how the guy made it because Cary Conran was the director and wrote it, and I think did a whole bunch of the post-production stuff like in his basement.
Okay.
And maybe I'm wrong about that. That's what I think I remember. But yeah, he's. It's just such a weird film. I think as an artistic expression, it is a movie that has a very specific look to it that I've never seen anywhere else. I don't know, maybe Sin City, maybe. But I get why people don't like it.
Sin City was a little bit different.
Yeah. This one's
Sin
just,
City I liked.
I think I just also love the Art Deco style. I love that look and I love that era of art.
And I love like black and white photography too. So that was another reason for me liking Sin City, and even the sequel, The Dame to Kill For. I like that too, but nobody went to see it.
Yeah, that one bombed pretty hard, didn't it?
Yeah. Well, the problem with that was there was like 7 years between the first one and the second one, and people had forgotten. But yet, 37 years between Twister and Twisters, and everybody comes out in droves for it.
Timing is so important, and it's really hard to tell when you've got it right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dame to Kill For, budget of $65 million, box office $39.4. Not the greatest.
But it's not a bad movie.
I'll have to watch. I never did get around to it, but
because I like Frank Miller's style of like those graphic novels and everything. Rodriguez, I don't know if he did the second one, but making that a film was just perfect. and how he did it.
The second one's credited both Robert Rodriguez and Frank Miller as directors.
Oh, okay.
So
well, that was even Sin City because I think both of them did that.
Let's see.
I still want to ask Frank Miller, The Spirit, what were you thinking?
Sometimes,
but yet
we don't think, we just do.
I had that opportunity with Sam Raimi, and of course, I did not say anything disparaging about Spider-Man 3.
It's very different sitting here in the break room,
oh, yeah.
in the party room, thinking Ryan Reynolds probably has some sort of weird secrets versus actually sitting there and talking to him. So, alrighty. Well, I think we've probably exhausted everyone. What do you think?
Yeah,
okay.
Probably.
All right, well, we'll be back with another episode, this time for this week's actual movie, the movie that came out this week. We're going to talk about Borderlands. And, we appreciate you joining us. Sorry, this is a little rambly for this episode, but...
Garrett and I have not been in the same room together for a couple of weeks, so it kind of bled out.
It's been rough, and then on the other hand, it's also just very difficult to review a comedy movie without talking about individual jokes, and I still don't want to spoil those, even if you're listening to the spoiler.
Okay.
So, okay.
Thanks, Garrett.
Well, thanks for joining us, everybody. And remember, you can find us online. Tell us why we're wrong at Grand Review Pod.
Make sure you leave your comments.
Yes, we love your comments. And we love you. We'll see you next week.
Take care, y'all.
Adios.